All right, let's talk about soul loss, soul fragmentation, what it is, what happens, and how it can affect us in this lifetime. But before we start, my name is Jeremy Chimbert. I am the owner and practitioner at Pacific Northwest Shamanic Healing. I have been working with clients pretty much all over the world, from everything from trauma, PTSD symptoms, depression, addiction, anxiety, all the gambit, I would have to say I've worked with abandonment issues, sexual assault issues. I've worked with clients all over the world to help them get back to the life they used to have before the event that happened. And today I want to talk about soul loss and soul fragmentation. They're kind of the same, but a little bit different, but the overall symptoms can kind of be the same. So let's dive right into it. The important thing to know is that the soul is not just one fixed thing. Now, it's actually understood to be multiple aspects of your life force, identity, essence. These aspects can move, withdraw, or become fragment based on experienced. So let's break that down a little bit more clear. Whenever you have something traumatic happen to you, whether perceived or otherwise, a part of your soul can break off to go into hiding to protect itself. And so this runs the gambit, right? From horrific experiences like witnessing your parents get murdered or you getting sexually assaulted, all the way down to that perceived level to even almost getting into a car accident. Having your parents yell at you very loudly when you're a small child and not fully understanding what's going on. All of these things can trigger soul loss or soul fragmentation. And a lot of times, these parts will come back on their own. These parts will find their way back, especially if it's on the more perceived side than the real side. So again, you slam your brakes, you almost T-bone somebody because they cut out in front of you. You didn't get into the accident, but you almost had a heart attack in the process. I'm sure we've all been there. And a part of your soul might break off and go hide to protect itself in that moment. Now, later on, that soul part might come back. Most likely it will, unless you have a trigger in place or an imprint within your energetic field where perhaps something like this has happened multiple times before. Maybe once you did get into a really bad car accident and it came back, and now this happened again, and that soul part breaks off because now it's truly needing to take care of itself. It's afraid it's all going to start over again. Those kind of situations can happen. They're not as common, but they can happen. So again, to recap on that, soul loss happens when a person's essence separates in order to survive something overwhelming. Again, trauma, abuse, war, grief, emotional shock, long-term stress or neglect even can cause soul loss. And when someone has soul loss, they might feel like a part of them is missing. They might feel numb or disconnected, stuck in the past, unable to feel joy fully. Sometimes it's even like they're watching life instead of living it. A part of them has broken off, and a soul part is a major part of their soul. It's not the fragment, which we're going to get into next. And a lot of times this can show up with emotional shutdown, identity loss after service. If you're in the military, perhaps something happened to you or a first responder, or even just that overall, I'm not the same person anymore. Now, soul fragmentation is a little bit different. This is the process of the soul breaking into like small chunks, and this usually holds a specific memory, a trauma. Usually it'll get stuck at a certain age, time of the event, and it carries more of an emotional charge, fear, grief, anger. And so instead of a clean loss, you might have multiple fragments that have broken off at different moments in time. Now, these aren't as full as a soul part, but over time, the more you lose the fragments, the more openings you have within your energetic field, and the more space for other things to come in, which will be a whole different video, but there's stuff out there that just loves to jump in. And that kind of goes back to that car analogy, the car accident analogy I mentioned. So say again that you experience a trauma within that vehicle at age 7, a part of you splits off. And then another one at the age of 15, another fragment leaves. And then age 25, we'll say something else happens similar to the first two, more fragmentation. And so now you have even less and less of your life force, essentially. And now what really makes it worse is this isn't just in this lifetime. We have all had multiple lifetimes, whereas some will say, since there is no space-time, everything's not linear, we're all living these same moments at the same time. Either way, if it's that or if it's linear time, and we've had multiple lifetimes, we've had multiple moments of soul loss, soul fragmentation. And this is really what I see as a big issue for a lot of us here in the West, because people who are extremely empathic, extremely oversensitive to their emotions, people who have anxiety all the time for no reason, depression for no reason. We have so many parts of our soul that are missing that we are more and more open and we don't understand what's going on. I've had clients who are like, I don't know why I'm depressed. I have everything I need. I have a good job. I love my job. It's exactly what I wanted to do with my life. I have a good family. For the most part, everyone gets along, except for the normal squabbling that happens, but everyone there rallies when they need to. But something is missing. Something isn't complete. That's your soul. That's part of your soul that's missing. And then the more of these little fragmentations that start breaking off, the more and more open you are going to be. And I really do find that a lot of people who are overly empathic, overly sensitive to other people's emotions, other people's feelings, they're constantly taking it in is because their field is so open because they're so fragmented that they just don't understand what's going on. Or you might have somebody who's afraid of fire for no reason. They don't understand. They've never been burned. They've never even been to a campfire. They've seen fire on TV and it always freaks them out. Well, it could be they were burned in a past life and their energy remembers. Their energy remembers that moment, even if they don't. That soul part broke off to go hide and protect itself. But now the rest of the field is saying, hey, fire's bad. We don't understand. But when you bring that soul part back, they're no longer afraid of the fire because they're complete. Or maybe they have less fear in the beginning and over time it gets better. I've actually had this happen with allergies. A client came in and this specific spot in Germany, every time he would go home to visit, he would just start sneezing like crazy. His allergies got really bad, but everywhere else he was fine. It was just in this one specific spot. And so we did a soul retrieval on him, and I go back and I look, and it turned out a couple hundred years ago, he was in his barn putting the horses away. And it's within that same area of Germany. It's all these hay bales above him, and the horse freaks out, hits the lantern off the wall, hits the pole, is the classic TV thing where all these hay bales fall on him, burying him. He can't get up. Barn catches on fire. Part of his soul broke off at that moment to go hide and protect itself. And its energy field was remembering that hay as the problem. So that hay caused him to have those reactions because, as far as the energy field is concerned, is that killed him. So that caused that soul part to leave. And I'm simplifying some of this just because I don't want to go in too much detail for a story, but I think you get the picture. And so when we bring these soul parts back, we integrate them back within our luminous field. We start to become more whole. We start to feel like we're complete. And there is an integration process, and these things do take time. And so, what can you do? What can you do if you're one of these people who feel like maybe I am missing part of my soul? And to be honest, everyone here in the West is probably missing multiple soul parts, soul fragments. It just is what it is. It used to be the shaman of a tribe would do a soul retrieval on a newborn baby and bring back any soul parts it was missing from its past life. We don't do that anymore. We haven't done that in hundreds, if not thousands of years, depending on where you're living. It just isn't done. And that's multiple lifetimes for most of us. And so we have multiple aspects of ourselves missing. So again, what can you do, right? What can you do to fix this? Well, there's multiple routes, right? You could just do a simple journey. You might have to do more than one journey. You go down to the little world, talk to your guides, ask them to help you bring back some of your soul parts, and things will shift for you depending on how it goes. Maybe you'll get a whole aspect back. You might get a bunch of mini fragments back to begin with. These are all, that's a good way to start if you just want to try to do it on your own. Or you can work with someone like myself. It doesn't have to be me, it could be another shamanic practitioner. The thing I would recommend, though, and it might piss off some people, but don't do the Etsy soul retrieval. I call them Etsy shamans, and I'm not trying to make light of what they do. I'm sure some of them are trained and proper and do what they do. But here's the thing about bringing back soul parts. You need to clear out space to bring these soul parts back. So say we'll take anxiety, right? So you're anxious about something all the time. You need to work on clearing out the energetic imprint of anxiety, that affinity that's with your energetic field first, clearing it out, making some space. Then you bring the soul part back. Now the soul part has room to reintegrate with you. If you don't, if you just jump straight into the soul retrieval, there's a good chance that soul part might not stay. It could. I, 50-50. I mean, in my experience, it's more it'll stay for 30-70. Like it really does depend on the soul part. So I would suggest you make sure you do some of the work first, then do the soul retrieval. Now, if you do the journey, you're more likely to bring it back because your guides are going to bring you exactly which parts you need and when, more so than someone who's just trying to bring something back. So make sure you're working with a practitioner, a shaman, and that they understand this and that they give you homework to reintegrate. Just bringing the soul part back doesn't always mean it's going to stay either. There is homework where you need to connect with this soul part. You need to fully integrate with this soul part. There might be some things the soul part wants you to do. Might have some homework for you. It might say, hey, before I come back, I need you to do a couple things. I need you to be more responsible. I need you to have more fun with your life. I need you to eat a little bit healthier. I need you to have some junk food once in a while and live a little. It really does depend on the soul part. So sometimes there's a negotiation that needs to be done too. So that's really all I got for today. It's here in the West, we're missing a lot of our parts. And it's okay. And psychology, I mean, we even have what's called parts work. And that's really good, but that's usually only for this lifetime. Those little pieces that break off and hide. Just remember that you most likely have a lot of pieces from past lives too. And so, again, simple way to fix that, go on a journey to the lower world, work with someone like myself. This is all things that we can do for ourselves easily enough. So if you need to learn it, learn it. It's no problem. And if you want to start digging down this path of learning how to do things on your own, check out my school down below. The link's in the show notes. Come down, starting entries $22 a month. I got a couple classes in there now, and every few months I'm going to be adding in more. First class right now is foundational practices. Teach you how to regulate your nervous system, get you back in order. Then I teach you how to journey to the lower world, meet your power animal. And the next one, I'm going to be showing you some techniques on how to use the emotion code on yourself. And then after that, we're going to start doing some real serious journey work. Work with some elements, work with our ancestors, bring back some aspects of our soul. So if you're interested, check it out below. If not, no worries. If you like this channel, please like, subscribe, all this stuff we're supposed to do and say. And honestly, though, what I would really like is if you have an idea for a video or you need me to dive deeper into something else that maybe I said, put that in the comments, please, and then I'll take a look at it and I'll see what the next video is going to bring us. All right. Thank you. Thanks for being here.